That was some epic music, my man. That was getting me pumped up.
Love the life. Hi, Taylin. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Creative Talks. Joined today by Taylin John Simmonds. He's a great guy on Twitter. He has a great story. He pivoted the journey from being, a college professor, or in that realm, and you pivoted away to building community, pursuing the online thing. And we want to talk today about unlocking the secrets of, building an audience and, monetization from that audience. So, yeah. Hey, how are you doing, Tyler?
Yeah, doing good, man. Did a good writing session this morning, got a lot done, feeling productive, just ate some lunch. So calls and then off to the gym. I gotta say, today's a good day.
Yeah, love that. So I want to start with your journey, at the beginning. How did you start and what got you into what you're doing right now for those who might be first tuning in to you or me, want to hear the story?
Yeah, I'll try to tell the super short version of it. So I became a college teacher in my early 20s. I think I was 21 or 22, maybe. Probably 22 or 23 when I became a college teacher. I did a little bit of part-time work at a college before that, getting some teaching experience, and I really loved the job. Teaching was awesome. It was one of the most fun things I ever did. It wasn't hard to do for me. I just liked showing up. I liked connecting with the students, synthesizing knowledge and trying to understand things deeply and make it easier for others to understand it. The only problem was it wasn't very high paying. So if it was a higher paying job that offered me more location freedom, I probably would have stuck it out for a really long time. But I just wasn't making enough money. In Canadian, I think I was making around 40 grand a year, which, was great for skill acquisition, and it afforded me to live in a decent place and, eat some decent food. But it definitely wasn't the amount of money I wanted to be making.
Yeah.
And I think it was a friend actually who just told me to go write on Twitter for a year and it would change my life. So I did. And within 6 months, it actually changed my life. I met Dakota Robertson, started ghostwriting, made my first 10K a month. Was like, holy crap, just kind of rolled with the punches and turned it into a content marketing agency. Brought my best friend on as a co-founder and we just scaled it right up. And then we started moving into info products because other people were asking us, how do we do what you do? How do we get into ghostwriting? How do we build personal brands? And we just started creating cohorts and communities based on that. And that eventually transformed into the School of Thought, which is a community and a newsletter that I'm running. And the whole purpose of the School of Thought is make money with your mind, not your time. And if I think back to when I started, I always wanted to make, pretty good money, at least 100K a year, preferably up to 1 to 3 million a year, and be able to travel the world, enjoy the process of work. When people say, pursue your passion, you should like what you do. I've always wanted that for myself. And I eventually realized there was just nothing that was going to teach me how to do that. Not, at least not in a traditional education sense. What degree can you get that is hey, if you take this degree, you can make 1 million a year and travel and you can enjoy your work. It's even if you go become a doctor, unless you start your own practice, you can't do that, but you wouldn't learn how to start your own practice at a university. Yes. So recently, the School of Thought has become what I wish I had when I was starting, is something that can actually show me how to make insane levels of wealth, how to have location freedom, how to improve, how to enjoy the process of work in a lucrative career with infinite opportunities. And that's what I'm building right now.
Love that. You mentioned Dakota Robertson, and you mentioned that in your website, over your bio. The mentorship journey was, I want to hear about that, how that affected you, because having a mentor when you start out is it just opens too many doors versus going on your own. And I want to hear your perspective, how that helped you with the journey.
Yeah, it was a very pivotal moment in my life working with Dakota. I never asked him to mentor me. He actually offered, funny enough. I just asked if I could work on his ghostwriting agency and write stuff. And he's like, hey, why don't I just like teach you? And he still to this day doesn't even know why he offered it to me. It was like a time when he really didn't feel he had the time to. But I joke around that he was kind of like Willy Wonka and I was like Charlie, and he just gave me a golden ticket. He was like, hey man, I'm going to teach you how to do it. I'm going to give you the systems, the sales script, all the business knowledge, and I'm going to refer the leads to you. You just need to close and fulfill. And he's like, and I'll help you do all of that. And he actually delivered. He was like the first guru person who like, delivered on the promise. And turns out we lived in the same city by like total fluke, like a small city in Canada. We started hanging out. We became good friends. We lived in Latin America together for almost like a year. And I'd say we're like pretty much best friends and brothers at this point because of how much time we've spent together. But it was completely like pivotal in my development. He was the person who I think seen my potential before I did and offered me the systems and the process to actualize that potential, and like supported me along the way and still continues to. So I'd say that mentorship was probably one of the most pivotal things that's ever happened in my life.
Wow. It's not easy finding a mentor, but you know, like it's always great. And when you have someone that sees something in you that you're not necessarily seeing right now in yourself, that's always great. I believe that whether and you know the communities that we're building and the online thing that is happening is kind of like building it, making it easier to find a mentor or someone to vibe with and have accountability. Yeah. So it's becoming easier. It's great to have someone who is like way ahead to see something in you and you know be able to provide you know the paths to start, which put me like I want to ask you this next question, which relates kind of like building something that is making profit out of this without having a mentor or without having a guidance at first. How do you go about this? How did you like if someone is starting out, and how did you go about it with your journey as well?
Yeah. Well, if someone was starting out and they wanted to make money, they really like making money is, this might sound kind of weird to people, but it just comes down to the right beliefs, habits, and skills. Like once you have them, you can make money. Like if you look at Alex Hormozi, if he lost everything, like he would just make it back. You might think, well, how? Because like people have this belief that wealth is like completely unobtainable, that you have to get lucky. It's like very random. You have to go to like get certain career paths or really pop off with Bitcoin and crypto. But like the truth is, like if you just know how to build wealth, you can build it. And each time you try to level up your wealth, you have to develop a new set of beliefs, habits, and skills. So the question you're asking is, as a beginner, what beliefs, habits, and skills would a person need to accumulate their first set of wealth? And let's just call out like the number that most people want to hit first, which is like 100K a year or 10K a month. That's usually the first step that people would love to hit, something like that. And that would be like life-changing for a lot of people. As I remember it was for me. That was like the most life-changing income I ever made.
Yeah.
So first off, you have to believe that it is possible for you, as trite as that will sound. It's like if belief does not make someone successful, but it is the precursor to success. Yeah. Like if you just don't believe that you can do it, you just won't do it. So that's like what starts the engine. Belief is like what like gets you in the car and like starts the engine, but you still need to drive. Yeah. So you do have to believe it. Now, if you're trying to make the money online, what you basically need to do is have a way to attract customers, have an offer that people actually want. So you got to offer something to a starving crowd. You have to have social proof to convert, and then you have to have the skills to fulfill on the promise that you offer. Like those 4 steps are really what you would do from the beginning. So let's imagine that you don't have any skills. You're like totally like new. You're like 16 years old. You're like, the best thing I know how to do is win at Call of Duty, but I want to make money. Yeah. It's like, all right, well, you got to pick a lane where you can actually make money. And usually that's a hard skill, usually. So like writing, marketing, sales, code, anything to do with helping other people make money is going to make you money. You become like the intermediary between someone making more money and you get a piece of it. And those hard skills tend to be where you're going to make that money. So if you don't have any skills, you got to acquire those skills. How do you do that? You read the right books, you read the right people's content on Twitter. Maybe you pay for a little bit of coaching from somebody to help, speed up that skill acquisition and help with execution. And then you'll eventually have the skills where you can fulfill on an offer once you figure out what that offer is, which is often very difficult for people. I get emails all the time like, I don't know what my offer is. I don't know what niche to choose. Kind of the same thing. Niche is just the precursor to the offer. And you got to figure out like, where is their market demand? Ghostwriting is something with market demand. People want ghostwriters. They want to grow on social media. They don't want to put the time into it. So ghostwriting for me was like my first hooray into that, or like my first win in terms of making money online, because I could offer ghostwriting services to people. So you look at what the competitors are doing, you create an offer, you have the skills to fulfill. All right, now how do we attract clients? Really, that's the next piece. That's leads. Most people would say send cold DMs because you don't have an audience. Fair. But if you don't have social proof, you're probably not going to close on those DMs. It's too risky. You got to have like a really good offer to do that with a lot of risk reversal. Or you're going to build the audience, attract leads, convert warm traffic with like warm DM scripts. You could do content that attracts leads if you have case studies. If you don't have a case study, become your own case study. Show that you can achieve it for yourself and help others do the same. This part here is the piece that I think a lot of people get hung up on, is they want such quick wins that they won't go through the process of becoming their own case study. Well, I got to say ghostwriting. If you're going to offer $5,000 a month ghostwriting services, but you've never grown anyone, not even your own account, I don't know how other people are supposed to believe that you can do it for them without some crazy offer, right? Yes. So you gotta like get success for yourself and then offer like to get other people there as well. I say go to the promised land and then take others with you once you've got there. And as long as you do that repeatedly, you can like make pretty good money online as a beginner. Like that's like the strategy with a little bit of execution. That's the broad stroke overview. And for a lot of people that might seem like too much work, which is fair. They might say, I want it sooner. I'm struggling to pay my bills. The question that I like to ask back is, okay, well, let's say you go down any other path of making money, with the exception of maybe sales. If you get a good sales job, you grind your ass off. You're going to have to go to college for multiple years. You're going to have to work your way up the company ladder for multiple years. So either way, it's going to take you years to accumulate wealth.
Exactly.
Why not just build an audience and obsess over it and have an infinite scale of wealth? Like I jumped from 40,000 a year to $500,000 a year in 2 years, or just under 2 years. So it's probably like a year and a half. There's no other career path I know of where you can make that leap other than entrepreneurship. So even if someone's in the beginning stages, I would extend your time horizon. Be like, not what can I achieve in like the next 30 days or 60 days. It's like, well, how much wealth could you accumulate in 1 to 2 years if you're completely obsessed? I think that's the right question to ask.
And people tend to confuse like the audience that you need to build. You don't have to go huge, be Gary V or Alex to accumulate that well. So you can do it with just 100 follower, 1,000, 10,000. You just grow with time. And yeah, it's becoming so apparent right now. Like you need a personal brand. You can't go around having a personal brand anymore. You gotta do it for yourself. You gotta use those skills on yourself and prove that. Like I think a couple of years ago it was all building a brand of with a name or the next tech app or the next not necessarily your own thing and putting your name around it, just having a team or stuff like this. And now we're pivoting away to solopreneurship. You are the brand, you and what you're gonna accumulate with the audience and the projects that you're gonna try out through the journey is the thing that to give you that life that you want, rather than going around yourself and going back to the same point, which is doing using the skills on yourself and promoting like this is the best case study that you can make. It's promoting yourself. Yeah, love that.
100%. Yeah. There's a few things in there I would maybe tweak a little bit from my perspective is personal branding. I don't know if I would say it's like essential. There's some extremists that do think if you don't have a personal brand, which what that really means is that you own your own distribution channel, like an effective distribution channel is like if you don't have a personal brand and you want leads for a business, you pay people with like that can get attention to drive leads. So you pay other people's distribution channels, they become like a leads aggregator. I think this is called like aggregation theory, or it's like a part of aggregation theory if anyone wants to look it up. But let's say you don't have a personal brand and you're like, damn, I really need leads. So who do you pay to get leads? You pay Google, or you pay Facebook, or you pay influencers to drive traffic. But a personal brand means that you own your own distribution channel, which means your cost of acquiring customers drops drastically. So you don't have to pay other people to acquire customers. You just have to create content. And if you have enough influence and enough people that care and you get enough impressions, you essentially get quote unquote free marketing, unless you look at the investment, the dollars you put in to acquire that distribution channel. So it is an investment. Yeah. So that's where I think personal brands are powerful. And some extremists believe that without owning your distribution channel in the future, you just won't be able to compete in business. Maybe that's true. I don't know. Maybe. But I do think that is a big part of it. Is like personal brands to me is just one of the most lucrative careers you could go into because it has infinite opportunity-based scale. Like you attract your own customers. A lot of like amazing people that I've met, I've attracted with my personal brand that I've met like online and offline. Like there's a founder who I met in Cape Town who writes for Forbes. And we just hung out when I was in Cape Town. It's like that would have never happened if I didn't build a personal brand. Yeah. Like the location freedom is incredible. The infinite amount of money you can make, the influence you can amass. I just don't know of another vehicle that improves every area of your life like a personal brand. And that's why I'm so bullish on it. It just seems like one of the highest leverage, most lucrative opportunities that you could capitalize on.
Yeah, I vibe that 100%. Like, and you just scaling yourself rather than scaling for another business. Like working with affiliate, or working with partners, you still need those sort of partners, and you're not necessarily developed enough to take it on your own versus going personal and building from within to the outside. It just makes all the difference in the way you handle all the other tasks in business and life. It just develops you tremendously. Yeah. I love it. And it opens opportunity, like you said. I want to talk about your community. Like, how are you structuring that? Because I have a community as well. I'm trying to scale that as well. I want to hear, like, what's the tribe all about? The School of Thoughts. It's a cool name. I like it. Explains the idea, but I want to hear your thoughts on how you're going about this.
Yeah. So the community, the reason I'm doing a community offer is one, I actually just really enjoy community. I know a lot of entrepreneurs hate it. They're like, it's too manual, it's too much work. I like community because it makes quick wins easier to achieve as a business. So you actually don't hit burnout as fast. Where some people find it like leads to burnout, for me it doesn't, because I'm like, oh, I have this really cool idea. I don't have time to or I can only write 1 or 2 newsletters a week that are really long until my audience just won't read them and I'll just get unsubscribes. But if I have a community, it's like, oh, there's this cool thing I've learned. Let's explore it and write this really deep article on it and like educate people and sort my ideas out. And then I get instant feedback. I give it to the community and they comment on it. Like, does it get quite a bit of engagement from the members? Does it not? What do people say? Do they resonate with it? And then if it works, it's like, okay, cool. That could go into a future like cohort or product that I create. So the community is structured as a way for me to test all of my ideas with an audience who's like more highly invested than just on socials, and to test deeper ideas that would go into curriculums, while also being able to help those people and give more opportunities to those people as well. Like, people ask me for my time or for like just to hop on a call, but in my community, I hop on like 1 mastermind call a week. We do a group writing session because I find a lot of people are selling education, but they're not really helping with execution. So to me, I'm like, okay, do you want to take a course and then write a bunch of content and have it not work, and then be like, hey, I don't understand why this didn't work, and then reach out to someone else and hopefully someone can help you after the post already flopped? Or do you want to take everything you've learned, write it with me and a bunch of other creators, and have us edit it and prevent it from flopping in the first place? And I just don't see anybody offering that. So to me, I'm like, that seems better. Like, let's help with execution, not just information, which a lot of people are doing. Is they're giving information because it's more leverageable in terms of time. It's more scalable.
Yes.
But the community is my way of giving as much of my time as I can to getting immediate feedback, to helping those people with execution, and then just leveraging all of that into the newsletters. It's also just great for connecting with incredible people. It feels like friends at this point, where every week we just meet, and it's like weird if we don't meet. So I don't know. I love the community. That's how I structured it. It's like a knowledge library with weekly calls, and then we have a bunch of channels for chatting about different things, sharing wins. That's the short of it.
Love the whole concept, and the execution part was because it's like learning. You go deep with the connection like this, like you're learning from each other, and it's the whole concept of cohorts and accountability partners. You got the recipe right for this. How long did it take you to get to the point that you are at right now? Because like I'm trying to, like, I'm at 18 members right now of the community. Not very active members. Like, I'm not skating. I'm focusing on the Twitter and social media aspect right now. The audience building.
Yep.
And so I know I need an offer to get them to the community, which is gonna be most likely like what you're saying, the weekly calls, something accountable, an activity to gather around and stuff like this. But I'm curious to know, like, how many like beta trials or like launches around till you got to the point that you are at right now? Was it like a mega launch that got the community, or you started gradually inviting people?
Yeah, it's a good question. I did a cohort, digital identity, back in September, and to house all of the information, I built a community just for the cohort. So that was where we first ran it, and that gave us a lot of data testing. We got a lot of feedback on what people liked and didn't like about the community, and we changed it very, very quickly. We were very quick to implement those changes and iterate. And then off the back of the cohort, people could pay to stay in the community for continued help. And we had probably 30 to 40 people who continued to pay on an annual membership. So that was awesome. And then I don't have a landing page for it yet. I completely overhauled the community after Christmas. And I was like, I want to move it to a new platform. I want to completely like change it and just make it 10 times better. So we did that. And then we just started offering beta access, where in my newsletter, I'm just like, hey, this is what we're doing. I just document it. If you want to join, like, hit this qualifying form to see if like you qualify for the beta. Because we want to be a community that only has like elite, like very serious people who are like, like I just kind of want to make my first dollar online. I'm like, like that's not our community. Like we're here to be serious. And then we ended up, just through that and the qualifying form, I think we grew to around 80 members. And we haven't even done like a public launch yet, where we have like the landing page and all that kind of stuff. So we're at about 80. And I would like to scale it up to like a couple hundred. Like I think 200 to 300. Like we'll get more people when we do the next digital identity launch at the end of March. We'll definitely get everyone in the School of Thought. We'll host everything in the School of Thought. And then after that, we'll be actually like hard launching the community once it's like officially tested and built out, and we know that it's the best version of that product to like take to alpha. And I'd love to get to like a couple hundred members, where every week we just meet, chat content. I think it'd be super fun, very fulfilling thing to do. But that was the path that we took.
Love that. It was very inspiring. I'm like, something just clicked. I need to do this in my mind. Like, I love that. Thank you for that.
Of course.
And the course itself, or the cohort itself, like I'm curious to know that part as well. Like, what's the curriculum is about? How do you like, what's what's the teaching? What's inside? Like, I feel it's more writing and digital. I did like this is what I'm getting from what you told me so far. So I'm curious to know like what's inside the course itself, like, that is attracting the whole community and the attraction. And is that and a follow up question for that? Like, is the newsletter was it the vehicle that got the whole cohort thing to start as well, or was it cohort newsletter and it's all building the audience? Like, what started which one?
Yeah, I gotcha. So I did the audience first. I did Twitter up to about 50,000. Then I think I added LinkedIn, and then I added the newsletter after. I was very late to add newsletter, actually. So when we ran Digital Identity version 1, I think I only had like 1,000 subscribers on the newsletter, so it wasn't as much of like a growth vehicle as people might expect. Twitter was the main one. Twitter and a little bit of LinkedIn is what drove most of the people in the cohort. Doing spaces, just creating content around it. That was where the real money was made on the cohort side of things. As for what digital identity, I forgot the question there for a sec. As for what digital identity is it's actually more of like an audience building and personal branding cohort. I feel like people have a lot of writing knowledge, like Dickie Bush is doing writing, Dan Coe's doing writing, Kieran Drew's doing writing, and I could do my own version of it, but it would just be so similar. Where the thing that I feel I'm most obsessed with is the personal branding aspect. So the whole idea of digital identity is, okay, I'm going to teach you how to pivot out of whatever you're doing to go into the most lucrative career path possible, which is how do you take all of your skills, who you are, use this as a vehicle for self-improvement to attract an audience. So I'll teach you to create the content, all the systems that you need for that, all the frameworks. We even do the market research now for everyone. So like we make it as done for you as we possibly can, where it's like you sign up, here's the market research, here's the warm DM scripts, here's all the frameworks to convert leads, here's all the content frameworks, here's how to do additional market research. Here's how to do the offers, like everything. It's like as done for you as possible when it comes to personal branding and like audience building. And that's the whole idea. It's like, if you do this, you will attract followers, you will grow, you will build a brand, you will make money, you can pivot out of your 9-to-5, or you can like start that business. This is how you do it. And that's like what digital identity is through and through.
Love that. And yeah, it's like designing your perfect life in a way.
That's why it's digital identity. It's like, who are you? And then how do you create the digital version of that attracts opportunities?
Love that. And for people who want to join, or like, is it like open right now to join the cohort, or
I'm gonna be opening it up at the end of this month. We'll do a 4-day like window where people can sign up for version 2. So if anyone like wanted to join, I would say just send me a DM on Twitter. We can chat about it, see if it's a fit for you, and get you on the wait list. But yeah, I'm super excited. Doing version 2 has been fun because version 1 was like 3 months, but version 2 is actually half the amount of time. We were able to condense it into 6 weeks without losing any education or any quality. We're going to gamify it again, where people are going to get sorted into the Hogwarts houses and they're going to compete for prizes. The knowledge, there's so much new stuff that I've learned from new mentors like Dan Coe and other people that I've worked with, that I'm just really excited to bring version 2 like out to people, because it's just something that I'm so proud of. So I hope that people want to check it out.
Yeah, definitely check it out. I'm curious to check it out myself. So we gonna DM about it. Like I would love to.
Cool, man. It'd be awesome to have you.
Yeah, and yeah, it was. I know you have a call after this, so we're kind of running low on time here. And this was amazing. I love the information and the sparks of your journey that you shared. Like It was very helpful, authentic. Like you're talking about the real stuff, not mumbo like dreamy stuff. Like you're talking about execution, doing the stuff yourself. So I love that. I hope we have like another talk like this very soon, where we like catch up on the journey, see how the community is going, and yeah, thank you very much for this. Anything else you want to add, like before we end it?
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. This has been fun. I'd love to do a longer one in the future where we're not so tight on time. Anyone who's interested in either the School of Thought community or digital identity, just hit me up on Twitter or join the newsletter, which is the School of Thought newsletter. You can see it in my Twitter or LinkedIn bio. I would love to chat with you and see if it's a fit. It's something I'm super proud of, and yeah, would love to help more and more people achieve that dream life that I was able to achieve, since college just doesn't offer it.
Great. Thank you very much for tuning in, everybody, and you have a great rest of your day. Thank you.
Later.